Timothy and myself, Nestor Mendoza, and today we're going to be talking about the crazy market trends that are going on in the American stock market and
So
the rest
much,
of the
so
world.
much.
Yeah. It's insane. It's crazy. Trump comes into power, he decides that he's going to be the man of peace, and how does he bring peace? By bumming people. So, this has been an interesting ride for all investors out there. We don't know what to believe. The market doesn't believe Trump. It goes up, it comes down. Geopolitical risks continues to be a buy the dip opportunity. The question is are we going into World War III? In this episode of Market Buzz, we're gonna find out. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and let's get the show on the road. So, Timothy, the war. What's going
Yes,
on? Tell me, what are you
the
seeing in the
war, the
markets?
war. When I think about war and the markets, I always try to look at the past history. What has happened in the past with wars is actually markets continue to move up no matter what news. And in the short term, yeah, probably a buying opportunity if we do get some big war. And it's sad to say that while everyone is in pain, some people are making money, but that's the hard truth.
Yeah.
Did you know Warren Buffett bought his first stock during the war?
Which war? I'm assuming
The first war. The
the
first war. He
old
was
war.
11 years old.
Oh wow. Okay. So then if Warren Buffett does that, then it's times for opportunity. Like I do believe that there's been opportunities in this market for sure. Like the market tends to overreact on every single news and it sells whatever it shouldn't be selling. And because people are just trying to find that edge, that alpha, right? So it's been no different this time around for sure. There's been crazy volatility with Trump, and this has just adds to that level of volatility and level of uncertainty that the market just doesn't like, right? So we're gonna see those things move in and out definitely fast and
and
quickly.
and during the second war, it took around a few years, but the market in that period it went up 50%,
Yeah,
even though there was a war.
yeah. Like there's a couple of things that are scary with this one here, and it's like it's the fact that Iran could affect the oil supply is the thing that I'm paying attention to, and then we're talking about nuclear wars here. So are they nuclear? The U.S. says no. Iran doesn't know. Israel doesn't know, but Israel seems to think so, and that could definitely shake up markets. But there's always the downside of war is that it's like if the world ends, then money doesn't matter. So why stay away from risk is the way that I like to think about it too. So yeah, it's been an interesting week definitely, and it'll be very interesting to see how this continues to develop because it's ongoing, right? I think Trump left the G7 meet to be dealing with this, and it shows the level of intensity and priority that he must be under, right? So yeah, we gotta stay on our toes. We gotta stay on our toes for sure. Um, I heard, I heard that you told me just before the episode started. The Genius Act. So what happened there?
Yeah. So basically, Genius Act, in simple terms, they're gonna plan to back one-to-one dollar or treasury bills to stablecoins, which is bullish for the crypto market. But you might have noticed MasterCard, Visa, they all dumped 5% because there's a scare about them maintaining their moat and seeing them doing the same what they've been doing for the last couple of years, seeing them continue doing that. Now, I'm a bit on both sides. I'm pro crypto, pro stable coins. Stable coins now is around 250 billion in market cap and is expected to grow to 1 to 2 trillion in 2028. So that's a huge jump in market cap. But also on the other side, MasterCard, Visa, it's such a big company. They're not gonna let that happen just like that. I mean, you have people, retail customers still getting credit points when they buy stuff, the miles they do with traveling. all the rewards actually they get by using the credit card are keeping them on the credit side. But on the flip side, retailers might want to use the stable coins because it's much cheaper, it's much faster, and even Meta, Walmart are exploring like how
Yeah,
are they
even
gonna
Amazon too.
implement this.
Even Amazon as well.
Even Amazon,
Yeah,
yeah,
just because like, well, the Visa and Mastercard model is just taking a cut of whatever money goes through your network, right? So if you can create a different network that minimizes those fees, why not do it and try it out and see whoever takes up on that? Just there's less profit, increases the margins for companies like Amazon, companies like Walmart. So it makes sense. It makes sense. And now, should we be scared that Visa is gonna lose all of their money? No, they probably. I'm assuming they have some people working on this and evaluating what the competition is and how they could sort of like pivot and take advantage of a different business model because they do still have a lot of client
Mastercard
loyalty.
and Visa, they were one of the first that implemented crypto in their network
Yeah,
as well. They are also pro crypto.
yeah, and I think
It's Meta
yeah,
and Amazon that are coming after.
correct. And then I think Mastercard also has been working with Circle since 2021. So there's already a partnership going on because I don't know if you've seen the Circle rally, the Circle company. I haven't done
Yeah,
much, but it's like the rally has been insane, to say the least. So it's something to pay attention to for sure. Okay, I'm gonna show you a couple of things here. Let's go very easily. So we have. I'm gonna try to not stop the the stream.
this yeah,
You know. Go and share. All right. So here we have the big beautiful bill of Trump. Right now it has passed the House. It still needs to pass the Senate and go to the president and then become law. This one, very mixed reactions. Solar was affected by the changes that they did to the bill, and all of the solar companies decided to take a hit. For solar, Enphase, all of these big names tended to get affected. And I don't think, there are some changes that are drastically change the demand, but I think the demand would actually go up in the short term and then maybe taper down as this goes by. And then we expect maybe some of the changes of this bill to get maybe revised in the midterms later on in down the line. Maybe Trump doesn't become president for the next term. So maybe there are some changes coming. So I don't disregard the solar industry to be affected just yet. But yeah, we still are like a little bit away from it. Another thing I wanted to talk about, and this is looking a little bit at the macro. Looking here we have the PE ratio of the companies in the like by country, and we see that America right now is sitting at 24.45 PE ratio, while India is sitting at 24.4. Right? So Indian markets and American markets are competing with each other right now in terms of investor value, and I think India has gone up, and obviously America has come down because of the deleveraging or the de-risking that we've seen after the Trump tariffs. But it's interesting to see because whenever the United States tends to be under India, we see a correction really quickly going to the upside. So that was super interesting to pay attention to. Just P ratios, just it gives you sort of like a macro view of where the market is at right now. I also like to tend to look at the put to call ratio, and this is super interesting because it tells you what like professional investors and traders are telling you about the market, because they tend to use these products to kind of evaluate their positions. And we see that usually whenever we have like peak in the put call ratio, it's when we pivot towards the other side. Like if we see, for example, whenever we see high levels, we see corrections of the markets. Whenever the put call ratio is high or a high number, means that people are expecting the market to come down even more. But then the reality is that it tends to be a signal for the bottom. Right now, we're in no man's land, and it's very interesting because the market is still trying to decide whether we're going to go up or lower. We're still sort of in the low side in this case, but it's still very weird how the market is reacting to all of this news and all of this uncertainty. We've bounced, but we still don't know whether we want to go up or down. And another indicator that I'm paying attention to right now, it's the Nasdaq 100, the 50-day moving average versus the 200, and we see that right now 81% of companies are above their 50-day moving average, and 64% of them are above the 200 days, right? So whenever we see like changes and pivots, are interesting times to be paying attention to the markets because we tend to be either bullish or bearish based on this information. But I just like to share that with everybody here, with the
hmm
community. So yeah, I mean, it's super. Let's have a look. Stop sharing.
I wrote about it in my latest blog. Like, it's very unclear to me where the market is going. Seasonality is still there, and it says that the summer is usually a bit sideways and choppy, and that's maybe exactly what we're gonna get. It should not be down making new lows, but it can be sideways for a while, and that's how people get bored and over trade, over leverage.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get chopped out, I would say.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Because right now it's very difficult to predict. We're very close to all-time highs, right? The S&P and the Nasdaq are sitting at very nice levels. I want to get your thoughts on the well, not stable coins, in the altcoins, because you were mentioning something at the start of the episode. Or
No, the thing
pri-
is, every Thursday I check like what are the strongest altcoins in the market, and I review them in my top altcoin playbook on my Substack.
yeah.
And right now, most of them,
By the way, I want to mention, now that you're talking about altcoins, there is a course down in the description below if you want a free 5-day course. Timothy has built it.
yeah,
It's
it's
all of
free.
his work. It's free for you. Make sure you like sign up and subscribe to it. I
Yeah,
still haven't done it, but I have to do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I will sign
do
up
it.
for it, and then because yeah, it'll be interesting to see if I can find some opportunities there. But continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so most of the altcoins I track are usually strong in an uptrend, but I've noticed this week most of them start to break down or at key support levels. So it's make or break. It's a good setup for a trade, but with a tight stop loss, you know? You don't want to keep on holding the bag. Sui was doing great, but now back at where it broke out. Curve was doing great back where it broke out. Aave was doing great back heading to where it broke out. So even Ethereum was doing great above 2,700. Now it's back below to 600. So it gave a little bit of a fake out, thinking that the market would just go and pump harder, but it's much more harder than this, and you have to just track those altcoins daily to see whether it's gonna move higher or not, and cut if the trend changes. And we're at this point where most of the coins are changing trend from uptrend to downtrend, so it's time to be alert.
Okay. So it's interesting because, well, like the old coins and cryptocurrencies have been acting as a barometer for risk and how people are expecting risk to be performing. And whenever we see sort of like that step away from altcoins, we see what I would say a decline from risk on sentiment in the overall market as well, right? It's Bitcoin has been acting almost as an indicator for the rest of the stock market as well, right? Whenever Bitcoin tends to find some strength and some momentum, we see the stock market chase after that. So and the vice versa going as well. So, oh, you want to talk about silver? So, okay, I guess we're going into the second part of the live stream, which is like what's on your desk, and I guess Timothy wants to talk about silver.
No, but we talked about silver last week, and in just yeah, I would say what's a week? 7 bars. Yeah, here. So it did had a nice move up since we talked about silver, and we were saying like, yeah, silver usually catches up to gold, and gold has been going up a lot, and now you can see silver doing the same. So is it gonna continue higher? That that looks like a decent chart, no? I
Yeah.
mean, it's moving up with higher lows, higher highs. We can expect it to go down again, but then maybe go for that $40 range. Seems
Okay.
like a good trade.
That's interesting. It's like when you're trading, it's all about testing like it's all about analyzing risk to the upside and the downside, and understanding that not every trade is going to be profitable, but just there might be some upside towards that trade, right? The question is, are you
Yeah.
too late or are you not too late? Okay, cool. One of the trades I'm paying attention to is First Solar right now. First Solar plummeted down when was it? Tuesday, I think. Um, First Solar plummets down almost. 20% on, when is the date? Yesterday or the day before? Uh, yeah, yesterday or the day before. Well, it plummeted down 22% because there's a there was the change on the bill. No. First solar, FSLR. Whoa. Give me a second. Don't throw me into penny stocks right here. What are we talking
I was
about here?
thinking, what is
What is
this
he
chart?
talking about? FSLR. Here you go. So you see, it's
That's a
like,
bit better.
yeah. So go into the daily and have a look, right? So it's like it's been an interesting trade because I've followed this company closely, and so far, like they've been doing okay. They haven't been meeting expectations, but we are expecting this market to correct, hope like soon. Now, being Trump, he doesn't like the renewables, but he hasn't shone too much shame on the solar companies. And this one is an interesting one because I think that we are going to need so much energy going forward that even solar is going to be an energy source that companies are going to be buying. And First Solar is a commercial solar energy seller and distributor, so we could see them out of all of the solar companies take advantage of the current market. And I think that commercial is where it's at. Residential will take a massive hit because residential you take a little bit more advantage on the tax benefits, right? But there is value here, and a 22% drop on a company like First Solar, it is unwarranted. It'll be interesting to see how it goes in the next couple of weeks. They have earnings on, let me have a look. They have earnings on the 29th expected, and then 29th of July. And if they meet expectations, this company could rally quite significantly, just bouncing from the lows that we've seen. I think the stock bottom at 130, and it's bouncing off from that, right? So
Can I
definitely
say
something
something?
to sure.
So the thing is, we discussed this with Dimitris. He was saying how AMD would catch up all the attention because Nvidia is sold out, basically.
Correct.
And what you're saying is basically with First Solar is gonna happen as well, because
Yep.
if everyone needs energy for AI, then they're gonna ask for First Solar as well. And just look at AMD, how it's been moving lately. Going up from up 60%. I mean,
Yeah.
in a few
From the
days,
lows, yeah.
up 60%.
Correct. This was
So
interesting because they just had the AMD event, and it was really good news. Like it was really good. People were really happy about the results on that, and we're just seeing that euphoria translating to price action.
yeah,
So
so
this is,
that's
I think,
basically
exactly,
the same play.
exactly. That's what I see in First Solar right now, and it's like if you look at like, and the thing is like this is one of the few companies that is actually really well priced. It's sitting at a PE of 12, and it's sitting at a forward PE of 6. You know, you're paying $6 for future earnings. It's not. Like for every dollar of future earnings, you're paying six. I mean, this company ain't gonna disappear, and Trump has to protect domestic production of every single key industry, which in this case, energy is most definitely a key industry. So, opportunity out there. Remember, we're not financial advisors. We're not your financial advisor. So, make sure you do your own diligence. This is just for you to get ideas and inspiration, and then hopefully let us know in the comments below if you know of any trades or any things that you maybe want to have us look at, and we can give you our advice or tips or anything that we believe. We'll make sure to reply to all of the comments in the video and the chat too, if anybody's watching. There's a couple of people watching in and out. But yeah, okay. Let me ask you. We are sort of heading towards the deep end. It's like okay, or well, you know what? I'm actually thinking of changing it. I'm not calling it the deep end. I'm calling it the rumor mill. So what rumors have you been listening to lately? What are you paying attention to? What have you heard that might spark some interest in the viewers and maybe get them to analyze and help us out with our research as well? Because
Yeah,
no, no,
I had some interesting news about crypto again, where Ohio has passed bill accepting Bitcoin payments under $200 from Texas. So this is bullish for crypto in the US. And then we talked a bit about NVIDIA. No, about AI, but also NVIDIA. And it was quite up this week because OpenAI confirmed the GPT-5 to be released in the summer, which is sparking a lot of attention to the AI space. So I think some of these AI players could get some momentum back. And yeah, today, don't be surprised if you don't see a lot of action in the markets because US market is closed due to the Juneteenth.
Yeah, markets are closed today. Hello, Sack. How you doing? But yeah, it's
Isaac.
interesting. It's interesting. Well, actually, I'm super glad that I can take the day off because even UK markets are open, so they're still moving. I still have some UK accounts that I need to pay attention to as well, but I'm kind of glad that there's a little break, you know. Now, hopefully Trump doesn't do anything crazy in this break because we're going to come into Friday and then we go into a weekend and we had the Federal Reserve meeting as well. So that was something we're going to be talking about with Dimitris tomorrow. And if Timothy makes it
Mhm.
tomorrow, I freaking got this from the Diamond event, and I want to open it because like I sort of know what's inside because I kind of like got a glimpse to it, you know. But I got invited to the Diamond event, and yeah, there's something
That's a
I want to
fancy
see.
box.
I know
You,
it's
you
super
you
fancy.
should do like a unboxing
I
on the
want to do it.
stream.
I want to do it. I want to do it so bad, you know. I want to do it so bad. So if we do the live stream tomorrow with Dimitris, I'm down to open it too as well. You know, I've been holding it there for a little bit, you know. I've been waiting for the right time, and I think the right time has come, you know. As we're also going into the Popular
Summit.
Investor Summit in October. That's going to be an exciting time, so pay attention. Stay tuned for that because we're going to be doing videos with many popular investors. We have a lot of things planned in the docket for that. So, stay tuned. Ooh, Sack took a little trade on futures. Are you thinking upside or the downside? I wonder. Because yeah, I'm thinking upside because I think we're gonna resolve the war. I think Trump hopefully resolves the war. But yeah. What else do we see? Are we gonna talk about? Are we gonna talk about the? You mentioned the spaceships thing, the Elon Musk thing. But yeah, no. Well, continue talking about the
Yeah,
S&P real
it
quick.
exploded. There's nothing much to say, but it's not good for Tesla.
Zach says the grind never stops, and I agree. That's the beauty about being an investor. You can work whenever you want, but if you stop working, you gotta catch up, and that's the problem. You gotta be paying attention every single day, because if you miss one piece of news, it can just affect your portfolio massively. That's why you make sure you like and subscribe. But yeah, oh man, but yeah, it's true. Like I don't know, like the S&P right now is just. Do you think Trump, based on whatever you've read, or do you think Trump joins the war effort, or he steps away?
Hmm. I think he's gonna try to avoid it as
Much as he
much as
can.
possible.
Yeah, I think so too. I think at the moment, I mean, I think they probably have some part in the war effort,
It's a
but I don't
fight
think.
he doesn't want to get involved to because he knows it's gonna get negative reputation about it. Every war actually gets negative reputation for the president, like Bush. Um, so yeah, I think it's best for him to avoid it. He has
Yeah.
his own war with the countries doing the trade war, so I don't think he's into it for another war.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Like he was supposed to be like a lot of people are turning on him because he said no more wars. We don't want to spend American money. Let's focus on America, not Israel or Iran, right? It's America first and everybody else later. But we are seeing sort of him starting to take a big stance and just the actions that he has taken. You know, he's stepping away from the deal. We'll see what happens there. You know, I think he doesn't want to fully tame Iran because Iran is it's a formidable force and you don't want to create a power vacuum in the area where who's going to take it? Israel potentially coming in, and then that could have its negative repercussions as well. Again, an expert on this, and I'm slowly getting better, and I'm hoping to get a little bit of an idea with Dimitris as well on tomorrow's episodes. By the way, just so you know, we're planning to do it at 7 p.m. UK time. But
Personally, I think I see a lot of negative sentiment about Bitcoin, and it's still trading at
we're sitting at
$104,
highs,
which
you
is
know.
crazy.
Yeah, it's like people are bearish on it, and it's like, bro, it's still sitting at really good levels, which is also the reason why I think that Jerome Powell did the right thing by not lowering interest rates, because we are sitting at a very pretty level right now. the economy is in a comfortable place. Yeah, we're seeing some deterioration in the data, but we haven't seen a capitulation of the data. And as long as I think even the inflation read that Jerome Powell is contemplating, I think is wrong. I think we're not going to see that much inflation coming in. I think it's going to be tame going forward, and markets are going to like that as soon as we start. Now the question is unemployment going to start rising because of that slowdown and because of it of producers taking in the hit instead of the consumer? That's the big question. Because again, I keep like hammering on this point, and it's that inflation will not come because it's a supply shift, not a supply stop like we saw in COVID. In COVID, we saw a major stop of major supply lines. In this case, we're just seeing a reshuffling of the supply lines, which most people are already prepared for. Because Trump has given enough time, even though we believe we didn't have enough time. All of these extensions have continued, and I think we're going to end up being at 10% across the board. That's the way that he's going to start generating some revenue from everybody, and then some of the key industries are not going to have that 10%. And China is gonna get what China's gonna get, like Dimitri called it last time. I mean, that was the right approach for that. That's why I want to get his perspective on that tomorrow, and we're gonna do that episode tomorrow. Anything else you want to talk about? We got 3 minutes. We got 3 minutes, Timothy.
Questions? If
Any
there's questions,
questions? If you're in the Bitcoin by 120K at August, what's your Bitcoin prediction by the end of the year, Timothy? Any changes on that?
wait, let me share the screen again, because I was talking about Bitcoin in my premium video this morning. I'm just gonna, well, yeah. So, I like cycles, and Bitcoin has yearly cycles, but monthly cycles as well, weekly cycles and daily cycles. And the daily cycles are 60 days. So if you count from the low till the next low, it was around 59 days. And now Bitcoin has started the new daily cycle on 5th of June, and it's now day 14. That means we're still like far away for a new low. So we want to see Bitcoin trend higher within these 60 days. Usually the top comes around day 40, 45. So that would be somewhere mid-July. Of course, that's if it's bullish. If the market is, if Bitcoin is just gonna trend lower here, that means downside until that low is reached on day 60, which is somewhere in mid-August to beginning of August. So if we're bullish, we want to see Bitcoin at least get to new highs again. And then I would say, yeah, 115, 120 is reasonable. But yeah, it needs to act quickly, because if Bitcoin breaks the low of the last 60-day cycle, that's bearish in my opinion. And that would be definitely a signal for me to risk off a bit. From a long-term perspective, I'm not really saying like the cycle is over until Bitcoin breaks the 50-day. It's also where it tested in April. So that's around 84K. But you don't want to sell everything at 84K. You want to at least take some off if we break that key level at 100K. So that's what I'm watching right now for Bitcoin.
Okay. All right. All right. I am. Just final remarks. If you're looking for ideas and inspiration, make sure to click the link below and check out our portfolios on Etoro to make sure you keep us honest, because we're making trades and we're talking about it, but we're also actually showing you what we're buying, what we're selling in our personal portfolios as well. So make sure you keep us honest. And if you have any ideas, put them in the comments. We're more than happy to listen to them. And we see, because the idea of this is to sort of get everybody talking about it, right? And finding people that are interested in the same topics and talking about the same things, and creating a community that sort of allows for us making money, and hopefully we can make some bank, you know what I mean? Because yeah, it's going good for us. We can't complain. I'm finally up this year, which is fantastic. I think you're also finally up this year. after all of the
Yeah,
uncertainty.
but then again, crypto dropped, and now I'm down
No,
1%.
no, no. But that's okay. It's part of the volatility and part of the markets. We understand it, and as seasoned investors, we know that the volatility is our friend, and it creates opportunities for us to buy. And this is no different. Opportunities are here. Make sure you take advantage of them. Make sure you buy whatever you wanted to buy. And if it gets cheaper, don't freak out. Make sure you do your own due diligence because we're not your financial advisors. And this is all for entertainment purposes only. Well,
Disclaimer.
anything else? Anything else we want to talk about? Anything else? Anything
No, I
else?
think we covered everything.
I think we did. I think we did. I think it's just the last thing. Microchips are risk on. Then right now we moved into the defensive play, and it wasn't even the normal defensive trades that we saw. It was microchips coming back into the picture. So a lot of people are realizing that the microchips trade is still on fire. So that's also I'm gonna leave you with that. So SOXL, Nvidia, tickers to look at. All right,
ASML.
ASML. Sure. The problem is, as Dimitri says, if that company was in America, it would be worth trillions of dollars. So it'll be interesting. Maybe like a safety play or a de-risking from America into other markets could be too. Could be too. But SMCI has been pumping. Even again, well, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. But yeah, markets are closed. We'll see you back tomorrow at the end of the trading day. Make sure you tune in. Thanks everybody for watching,
Thanks, everyone.
and peace out.